Hello, my lovelies. We are live in the Dolce Vita Cafe. So I am going to take a sip of water, give people a chance to come on, while my director makes a little camera adjustment. So let me bring up the live feed on my computer so I can see when anyone joins us. Just getting my notes in order, giving people time to join if they want to join us live. So here we go. How's the sound? Can you hear me? Yay! So I'm so pleased that we are here together again this week. I would like to start off by checking in on how my Mediterranean journey is going. So it's the 24th now, and since January 1st, I've had no alcohol and I've been not snacking. So I've been trying to eat really healthy meals and trying to get rid of some of my holiday bloat and things and what do you call it, the quarantine 15 that I didn't gain 15 pounds, but trying to just lose a little weight for January. So it's been now day 24 and I'm feeling great, and I've lost about 5.5 pounds, which I think is pretty significant since I really haven't been doing anything outrageous to do it. And I have to admit, I really haven't been doing much exercise. I really want to incorporate exercise back into my daily routine. But this is just from not drinking alcohol and not snacking at night, and really trying to add a lot of vegetables to each of my meals. So it's been really easy, and the food is really great. So that's why I'm always trying to tell people the Mediterranean diet is not a diet. It's a different lifestyle, and it's so easy to eat this way because the food is delicious. I kind of lean toward the Italian version of the Mediterranean diet. I know that a lot of people think of the Mediterranean diet as Greek food mainly. And Greece is a big part of the Mediterranean diet, but I kind of lean toward the Italian version because I am Italian and I prefer those flavors. So there's so many countries along the Mediterranean Sea. They each have their own kind of spice and herb blends that they like to use to flavor their food. So whatever your taste, you can kind of gear this diet and this lifestyle to your particular flavors. So it's just really easy. And there are benefits beyond just weight loss. If you get your numbers checked regularly by your doctor, which I hope you are doing. So by numbers, I mean your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your A1C, your blood sugar levels, your liver enzymes, all those things. I think if you see that after you've been on the Mediterranean diet for 3 or 4 weeks, and if you get your numbers tested again the next time you go to the doctor, you're going to see improvements in all of those areas. I know that I have. I don't have cholesterol to where I've ever had to take a statin, but it's always bordering on high. So it's always around 200, 203, something like that. And I see significant drop down when I'm really being eating well and eating very Mediterranean-like and lots of vegetables and very little meat. So I really think that this lifestyle can benefit you in so many ways. And also, I'll put a link down below to a playlist that I have. There was a time in 2017 where we went and I filmed every single day what I was eating because we were really being strict about the Mediterranean diet. We were new to it, and we were exercising, and I was showing you everything that I ate every day for that month. And at the end of that, not only did I lose weight and all my numbers were improved, but my mood was so different. I was sleeping really well. There's just massive improvements all across your lifestyle. I was positive and I was thinking clearly. And if you have any kind of brain fog or anything like that we start to get when we're older, or that we get if we start drinking too much wine and stuff, this really clears all that up. And I really think that it's a lifestyle that you will enjoy. And I heard about someone that I went to school with recently passed away. And it's always weird when you hear about someone who's your own age who died, because I don't feel like I'm very old. And it wasn't COVID, and it wasn't, I don't know what his lifestyle was like, because I haven't really seen him since we were in school. But he was sick with cancer for a long time, and he died. And it just made me start thinking about, like, we always think about, I don't want to talk about him personally, but we always think about, like, oh, we'll get on that diet someday. Like, all right, in a few months from now, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to lose weight. And we always think that we have all this time. And we don't really know how much time we have. And I think that if you're really thinking about this lifestyle, start now. Like, there's an old saying that's the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. The same thing with the Mediterranean diet. So don't put all of these lifestyle changes and things off for a time when you think that you're going to be ready for it. We don't have as much time as we think we do. And I know that sounds depressing, but you never know how much time you're going to have. And so get started now to give yourself the best chance possible for your maximum health and to be healthy in your later years. Because not only do people on the Mediterranean diet live longer, especially in Italy and Greece, they live longer than anyone else. They have the most amount of people who live past the year 100. But they also stay healthier longer and they're active into their later years. So they're not just 100 years old and in a wheelchair. They're still walking around and they're still cooking and they're still doing things in their daily life. So the Mediterranean diet is your best chance of having a healthier later years. So that's why we're all doing this. Okay, so don't wait, don't put it off. Start now. So I have a few things. I didn't really get any questions this week because I like to go over my frequently asked questions. And let me see if anyone's joined us. Hello, I see that people are here live with us. Thank you for joining me. If you want to plop a comment in the chat box to say hello, or if you have any questions, please do. Or let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm in New Jersey, so I'm on the East Coast. I didn't get any new questions this week, so I was just going to talk about a few topics that I prepared for you. Take a sip of water. I wrote a blog post last week or so that I called my aspirational dress. Now, I'm not sure if this is healthy behavior or not, buying something that doesn't fit you yet. But I saw this dress when I was doing my Christmas shopping, and I thought, well, I'm not going to buy it now because I'm Christmas shopping. I don't really have time to spend money on myself. But I couldn't get this dress out of my head. It was a little sequined mini dress, which is something that's a little out of my comfort zone. But I was rewatching some of the early episodes of Gossip Girl before they took it off of Netflix. And in the one episode, actually it was episode number 1, when Serena first goes on her date with Dan, her first date with Dan, she wears this little sequin mini dress with really thick black tights and black booties. And I thought, that's a cute way of wearing that. So you don't feel like you're wearing this little short dress because you also have something really covering up your legs and everything. And it was just so cute. And I thought, oh, I wish I was young again so I could wear something like that. And then I realized after Christmas that that dress that I had been looking at, I think it was on Zara. I'll put a link to it down below if it's still available. I don't know. I'll put a link to the blog post, which has a link to the dress. And I saw it and it was 50% off. And I thought, I'm buying this dress. And I'm not buying it in the size that I am now. I'm buying it a size down. And I'm going to get into that dress and I'm going to look great in that dress. I have a wedding coming up. It was supposed to be this February, but because of COVID and everything, it got pushed off. So it's going to be the following February. And I told myself, I am going to rock that dress the following February and I'm going to wear that to the wedding. I'm going to style it the same way that Serena did, with really thick black tights and some black booties so that I don't feel uncomfortable with how short it is. But it's all sequins. It's black and it has sleeves and things. The one that Serena wore was gold and it was sleeveless and things. It was a little younger looking. But I bought it and I thought, this is my aspirational dress. I should wear it. I should hang it somewhere in my room where I see it every day. But it's just something that I'm looking forward to. So I don't always think that it's healthy behavior to buy clothes that are too small for you. I remember in my younger years, I would buy jeans for the size that I want it to be, and hoping that I would get into them, and then you never really get into them. But this time I'm determined to get into this dress. And so whether it's healthy behavior or not, and I had a lovely comment that someone wrote on my blog post saying, I think you would rock that dress right now the way you look. And I really appreciate that. And that's a good, healthy attitude to have. But I just wanted you to know, maybe buy something for yourself that you think is something that it will be. It doesn't have to be something that's too small, but something that you have your eye on that can be a reward for you when you're reaching some of your goals later on. And it's just a little added motivation. So what else do I have to talk to you about? I wanted to talk to you about fabrics. If you look on my website, and I will also, anything that I mention, I will link in the description down below. I have a series on my website called the La Dolce Vita Files, and it goes into all the different aspects of the different parts of the lifestyle that I consider part of the Mediterranean lifestyle and part of living La Dolce Vita, which is what my website is all about. One of those in particular is about the fabrics that we surround ourselves with our lives. So you see this blouse that I have on today. I love the way it captures the light. It's a velvet purple, I think it's a Liz Claiborne top. I love how soft it is. I love the way it looks. It looks luxurious. It looks great on camera. It's super comfortable. It's really soft on the inside too. And I love wearing it. It's warm. And it's a little glamorous. Because my words this year are all about Baroque, ornate, and grandeur. And I think it goes into that little glamorous look that I'm trying to go for. But not just about the clothing in your life, but think about all the fabrics in your life, like your sheets and the towels that you wrap yourself in, and maybe the blankets that you have, or a throw that you have on your couch or something like that. Think about surrounding yourself with luxurious fabrics because they just feel so nice, and they can really make your room look nicer. And I just, as I move around, you can see how the light captures on this blouse, and I just love it. So if you want to think about the fabrics that are in your life, and even a placemat that you put on your table or a table cover that you put on, just think about maybe upgrading all of those a little bit. And it doesn't mean that they have to be expensive. I mean, this top was a Liz Claiborne, but it wasn't really all that expensive. But it's something that I wear often. It maintains its shape. I take care of it. So take good care of your fabrics, and just, instead of maybe having a paper napkin on your table with dinner, maybe have a cloth napkin. Or, if you have a little plastic placemat that you put under your plate, maybe have a woven mat of some kind. So just think about upgrading the fabrics in your life that surround you, that are a part of you that you touch every day with your skin. This is a little something to be mindful about. And I will link that article that I have about fabric down below. So, hello people, I see that there are several more people watching me now. So if you're on your desktop, if you're watching this on a laptop or your computer, right to the side here, you'll see a chat box where you can type in any questions or anything you want to say hello or whatever. If you're on your phone, I think that you will see under the video a little thing that says chat, if you want to say something. So, I also wanted to talk about what I've been into lately. I got some Christmas presents. Oh, hello, Stacy. Is it important to eat grass-fed beef when you do eat red meat on the Mediterranean diet? Let me take a sip of water. Thank you for your question, Stacy. I think it's important to buy the best quality meat that you can find and afford. It doesn't necessarily have to be grass-fed. I mean, that was great if you can, but just do your best. Some supermarkets don't carry that kind of meat. So just buy what you can find and what you can afford, and eat it in very small quantities. You don't always have to think about buying the most expensive olive oil or the most expensive beef. If you can buy organic and if you can buy grass-fed and all those things, that's great, but I wouldn't stress out over it too much. If you can, and if you can find it, then yes, that's probably the better option. But I really wouldn't stress over it too much. Do what you can. And if you're eating smaller quantities of it, it's not going to matter as much. So I hope that helps with your question. I wanted to talk about my mom for a second. I used to have on my old blog a long time ago a section on there called What My Mother Taught Me. And I would give little lessons about the things that I learned from my mother. My mother was a great reader, and every night in the evening, she may watch a couple of television programs or something, but then she would sit down and she would read a book all night. And it kind of instilled in us a love of reading. And we give books often as gifts in our family, especially at Christmas time. And so I got some books for Christmas that I wanted to show you. But I wanted to also give you a challenge this week to find a book or something in a topic that's sort of out of ordinary for you. So if you normally read mysteries or you normally read romances or something, try something else. Try science fiction or try something nonfiction. Now that I'm older, I read a lot more nonfiction. But here's a novel that I got for Christmas this year. It's Warlight. It's by Michael Ondaatje. He's the author of The English Patient. And I really enjoy his writing style. So I've already devoured this book immediately after Christmas. It was very interesting. But the other books that I got for Christmas were all nonfiction. So I got Women Heroes of the American Revolution, because in the area that I live in New Jersey, there's a lot of Revolutionary War locations and things like that, and I'm just always fascinated by it. So I thought this would be really interesting. And then I'm so enamored with the Tudor period, and I'm obsessed with Anne Boleyn. So I got this book, The Wives of Henry VIII. You know, we all know about his 6 wives, right? So this goes into all 6 of them, and I thought that would be really interesting. And I'm also very interested in the Tudor style, and it's funny that, you know, they lived in the 1500s, but they're still influencing the way that I like to wear my jewelry and things like that. And then, because I am a huge fan of Italy and I am Italian, I have the History of Rome. It's called The Eternal City. And I haven't even started this yet, but it starts way back when, at the very beginnings with Remus and Romulus, and it goes all the way through to the modern times. So I just thought I would share those with you. And I wanted to give you some homework. So I wanted you to find a book that is in a topic that you wouldn't normally read, just to expand your horizons a little bit. And I thought that would be fun. Stacy, I love to read anything during the Tudor era as well. Isn't it fascinating that we're still so fascinated with those people? And I know a lot of people, I started following a lot of Tudor sites on Instagram and things like that. And on YouTube, there's a lot of Tudor channels. And I'll put some of my favorites in the description when we're off of this video if you want to check them out. And it's funny how people all have their favorite queen. You know, Henry had 6 wives, and everyone's really possessive about their favorite queen. And mine is Anne Boleyn. A lot of people are obsessed with Catherine of Aragon. And a lot of people are really big on Catherine Parr. So Catherine of Aragon was the first one. Of course, he divorced her so that he could marry Anne Boleyn and also change the entire Church of England. And then after Anne Boleyn, who he beheaded, he had Jane Seymour, who was the only wife to give him a son. And but she didn't live very long. She died shortly after giving birth. And then after her, who was after her? There's the other wife that he had Anne of Cleves, who he married based on a portrait that he saw of her. And then when she showed up, he didn't think she was pretty enough. So he ended up annulling that marriage. He married her because he said he was going to, and then he annulled the marriage. But they ended up remaining like really good friends for their whole lives, which I think is funny. She stayed in court and they became friends because she was just like, all right, whatever. And then he married the one after Catherine Howard, who was really young and kind of frivolous, and he ended up beheading her as well. And then the one who outlived him was Catherine Parr, who was a little bit older, and she ended up surviving him and ended up taking care of all of his children. So I just find them all fascinating. Mine is Anne Boleyn as well. I think, how can you not, right? I mean, we're all fascinated with Anne Boleyn. She wasn't around for very long in his life, but she had such a huge, important role to play in the future of England. And she was supposed to be beautiful, and they had these portraits of her. And of course, she was the mother of Elizabeth I. So it's nice to talk about Anne Boleyn. So she probably can't believe herself that people are still talking about her to this day. So that's what I mean by, for your homework, go find a book and a topic that you wouldn't normally read. There are lots of books about Anne Boleyn, which I'm going to devour after I get through with all of the wives. But this is a good choice because this is a really easy read. It's written by Antonia Fraser, I don't know how you say that. And she's very popular, and this is a very popular book on the subject. So let's see, we are 20 minutes into the Dolce Vita Cafe show this week, and that's all I really had to say. So unless anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to stay on here and answer them. Thank you, Stacy, for asking your question. I hope I helped you. And so does anyone have anything else they would like to say? If you're watching the replay and you have a question that you want to ask, you can just put it in the comments down below. Excuse me. When this live show ends, the chat closes, but then the regular comment section opens down below this video. So you can write anything you want there. So if that is all anybody has this week, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a very pleasant Sunday. And I will see you again next week at the same time. Bye.